Hello, I'm Jay, and a very good day to you. Today, I'm going to be presenting on the topic focus on competition has always been a formula for mediocrity. Um, as mediocrity, competition, success, failure are things that every human being has to go through in life. Uh, well, it's only legit that I start the presentation with a story of two very normal guys just like us, Bill and Bob. Bill and Bob are brothers, right? And in fact, they're cousins. In fact, they're twins, right? So when Bill and Bob are born, uh, the mother is very happy, and she decides that both of them are going to do really well in life because she wants them to achieve all of what she herself was not able to achieve. What happens next is, let's come to sixth, seventh grade. Bill is doing great at studies. He's interested in science. He's a bookworm. He likes to read a lot of things. On the other hand, Bob has a mercurial personality. He likes to play football. He's popular in the school, but he's not really that great at studies, right? And he also likes to play the guitar and sing, etc., etc. Now, in the chronology that follows, we reach the 10th grade, right, which is a very crucial time for any kid, uh, particularly born in India. So Bill, he gets to the 10th board and he tops his class. Bob, on the other hand, he attempts the 10th board and he gets very mediocre and average marks. And what does Bill's and Bob's mother think next? That my children, both of them are going to go to IIT, right? So what does she do? She enrolls them in an IIT coaching institute. Bill, being the bookworm he is, comes out with flying colors in all the mock tests, all the preparations that are there. On the other hand, Bob, he's struggling. He's trying really hard to be able to do well, but somehow he's not, right? And at the end of it, Bill ends up going to one of the top IITs. On the other hand, Bob is not able to make it, right? And that leaves a very big dent on his psyche in terms of his self confidence and in terms of what he thinks his ability to achieve things is. Hmm? So, what is in fact the moral of the story? The moral of the story is that, well, Bill was great at studies. He did studies, and he was good at sciences. He went into engineering. On the other hand, Bob was good at music. Bob was good at sports, but he was forced to get into something that he was not really good at or not really passionate about, right? So therein comes this line: everyone's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. That is the sole reason people like Bob, so many Bobs all over India, keep feeling that they're not good enough. They're not good enough to compete within this very competitive environment, right? And that is where I think the statement that competition is a pathway to mediocrity is, or rather, has been originated from, right? Let's get to the decadence that is caused due to competition, right? Now, the first point here would be to look at the kind of society we live in. The kind of society we live in is capitalistic in nature. Majority of the countries across the world are moving towards corporations, trying to reach higher living standards and trying to bring as much as free trade and capitalism as possible, right? Capitalism has five aspects: private property, capital accumulation, wage labor, voluntary exchange, and a price system, and competitive markets. So competitive markets is a must, right? So we live in a world which is inherently competitive in nature, right? And the basic premise of all the societal activities and all the business that we conduct is actually based on competition, be it, let's say, movies, or be it sport, or be it education, be it science. All of it is very competitive in nature, right? And in the news, what do we see about the decadence of competition? What all problems has it caused, right? So I'll specifically start with an example that is very close to our homeland, to India. The first one would be suicide in quotas. In 2016, 59 students in Kota committed suicide because they were not able to handle the pressure that came from preparing for IIT JEE or for the medical entrance examination. In Chinese education systems, there are scholars and researchers who are working around the clock to develop measures so that the young Chinese generation does not take that much stress for their studies and for their careers. There have been umpteen number of deaths due to very high work hours in Japan, which is actually very surprising and alarming. And as we can see, all the banking fiasco, or the 2008 crisis that happened, right? All of that was due to a very competitive and greedy nature that a lot of the bankers had. There have been other scams as well, wherein politicians have tried to siphon off money due to competition, or rather, filling up their own pockets, right? So as we can see, there is a lot of decadence due to competition, right? What are the root issues with the competition? So why do we think that competition is bad? In a lot of aspects. So the first aspect would be failure, right? A lot of people see failure and success in black and white terms, right? They feel that if they failed at any particular task that they set out to achieve, they have lost everything in life, right? And that is one of the reasons why they feel pressure. Coming next is a parental pressure, right? So parents expect their kids to perform well in school or whatever activities they undertake, right? Especially in a country like India, which is patriarchal in nature, and which has a lot of aspects of a joint family intertwined within the culture. So expectation from parents, that has a lot or causes a lot of hammering on the kid's psyche, and causes them to undergo depression, or take up other habits that are probably not very healthy for them. The next one is expectations. So people set out a lot of expectations from themselves. The society as well sets apart a lot of expectations from people, and when they're not able to achieve it, that is when they feel dejected, they feel incompetent, right? Fear, yes, fear of failure, fear of not being able to make other people happy, fear of not being able to achieve fulfillment, self fulfillment, that is also one of the reasons. And obviously, one of the biggest reasons is the way our society is structured and the way expectations are structured in our society. uh, let's take a step back and think about it. Is competition really all that bad? I mean, yes, competition has caused some bad repercussions along the way, but at the end of it, is it really the bane that we think it? Let me take you through a few positives of the competition. Number one is creativity, right? Uh, when you challenge your inner energy and competition in a proper manner, then it can help you become more and more creative. Innovation, technological innovation, right? Innovation in business, innovation in a lot of things that we do has simply arisen due to very stiff competition, right? And the next one is cooperation. So sometimes it may so happen that we may need something that is technologically more advanced from our competitors, but we learn to cooperate with them, we learn to coexist in the society, so that we can do better, or try to bring about some sort of betterment in the society. So creativity, innovation, and cooperation, these are I think the three major positive outcomes of having a very or living in a very competitive environment. Now, I would like to take you through why competition in a certain way is bad, and why competition is in a certain way is good, right? So we've all heard about, if we stay in the comfort zone, we will not grow. We need to push ourselves. We need to keep doing better and better if we want to achieve, or if we want to succeed in life. It is only because of these things that people start putting themselves in the panic zone, which is something that causes exhaustion among people, right? A lot of the students who prepare for IIT JEE, or a lot of the students, undergrad students in China and Japan, who are studying really hard for their entrance, have put themselves in this panic zone, right? Then comes the stretch zone. The stretch zone is the sweet spot where competition and pressure both go hand in hand, right? So here is where any individual would be sorry, any individual would be able to give out their peak performance, right? And the last one is the comfort zone, which leads to your brain cells dying, if I want to put it that way, your neurons not getting fired, and you getting more and more bored. So at the end of it, if you look at the graph, or rather this plot of performance versus pressure, we realize that too much competition is bad, too little competition is also bad. We need to have uh, an optimum amount of competition, and that too channeled and directed in the right direction, right? Only then does it really have a really great impact on creating the and fostering the innovation, cooperation, and the competitiveness that we want in the society. Uh, that's mostly about it from my side. But before I go, I would like to talk about one small thing. That one small thing is the example of a deer who lives in the jungle, right? That deer, it has to always stay alert, right? And watch out for predators. Watch out for predators to protect its own offspring as well as itself, right? Now, uh, the thing is that if it doesn't run fast enough or faster than the other deers, it will end up perishing. It will end up getting eaten, right? Similarly, if the tiger, let's say, who's trying to eat the deer, if he doesn't hunt fast enough or if he doesn't hunt well enough, he will die, right? So competition in itself is very inherent to the way the world survives, the way the world works, and competition cannot lead to mediocrity. I think competition leads to balance in the way markets operate themselves, in the way people operate themselves. It's only when the balance between competition and pressure is disturbed. Well, obviously that would lead to great problems and would eventually lead to the person getting frustrated. But all in all, competition is something that is needed, is natural, and is very inherent to our survival and the way we live. Thank you very much.